One of the products that's taken the carp market by storm in recent years is a product called PVA. And I'm going to show you now how to make a PVA bag really professionally, and it's dead easy. This is mesh style PVA. It comes in all sorts of forms, notably string and mesh. You can also get solid bags as well. This is the most popular type. I'll explain to you exactly what it does in a minute, but to make up a PVA bag, get yourself one of these funnel type systems with a continuous mesh that you can make into different size bags, and start off. It's our old friend the overhand loop knot again. We're going to tie a loop and a knot in the bottom of the mesh, and then we're going to trim it off nice and flush. Now, anything that you put inside PVA must be dry. Anything water based will melt the PVA, and that obviously defeats the object. But before you can cast it into the lake, it's going to be gone and your bait's going to spray all over the place. You can use moist baits, but only if that moisture is oil or carp type flavour, an oil based flavour. That won't melt PVA, but water most definitely will. The most popular bait to use is pellets, and these are dynamite baits, marine halibut pellets. I'm using the very small ones here. You can put any dry ingredients in the bag. I'm also going to get a few sauce boilies. Now, what I like to do in a PVA bag is to crumble up 3 or 4 boilies and then put a couple of whole ones in as well. That releases lots of flavour and it just makes the whole thing a little bit more interesting. So our bait's now in the bag. What I'm going to do is ease the stocking down. The bait's all sitting in a nice neat clump in the bottom now, like that. Allow yourself probably round about 4 or 5 inches of mesh and just snip it off. Now at this stage, what most people try to do is to form a knot in the PVA to secure the top, but there's a much better way of doing it, and it's very, very effective. Take the bag like this and just snip down the middle of the free piece of PVA like this, and create yourself what is in effect a pair of handles for a carrier bag. Using your overhand knot, just bring them round once and tie in 1 knot and then twice to make sure it's really secure. Pull it tight and then trim off the loose ends, and what you end up with is a really neat, professional looking PVA bag. It's not all slack and sloppy and flaccid. It's nice and tight, it'll cast really well. And the point is that if you cast this into the lake on your rig, the water will attack the PVA when it's sunk to the bottom, it'll dissolve, and it'll leave your hook bait sitting in a nice pile of freebies. Now, there are various ways of attaching PVA. Some people like to put the lead and the bait in the bag, some people like to thread the bait through the bag, but the simplest way is to just take your hook, pass it through the mesh once, twist, through again, and there it is. Now, using PVA, try to use a short hook link, a braided hook link, because if you don't, you'll get bite-offs. The carp hasn't got teeth in the truest sense of the word. What it's got is crushing teeth in its throat. And with PVA, because your bait's sitting in a pile of food, there's a danger that the carp will come along, start feeding on the bait in the bag, suck your hook bait in, and before it's finished its meal, it will have passed that hook bait back beyond its throat teeth, and it'll literally chop through your line. You won't hear a bleep, you won't see a lift on the indicator, you won't even know that it's happened, but when you wind in, your hook link will be cut off. So use a short braided or coated braided hook link, round about 5 to 6 inches long, maximum of about 10 inches for bag fishing. Now, this is a pop-up hook link here, so if I were to place a shot just down here, what would happen is when this bag dissolved, the pop-up would hover above that little appetizing pile of food. Bottom baits work equally as well, but the point is that when you cast this rig out, the PVA dissolves and your hook bait's sitting there right in a magical bag of goodies that any sane carp just simply can't resist.